Good afternoon everybody and welcome to the stream. I'm Robert from the El Magnifico Games channel, and today we are going to start a playthrough of the Talos Principle 2. Now, a little while back, I think it was over a year, we played the Talos Principle 1 and I thoroughly enjoyed it. In fact, yeah, it would have been over a year, it was probably more like 2 years ago. The Talos Principle was a puzzle game. It had some jolly good puzzles in that, but it also had some interesting lore which mixed religious themes with, I suppose, sci-fi. It was a very interesting game, and so I've been looking forward to giving the second one a go. Now, as I recall, it has been quite some time, but I believe the last game finished off with our character, who was an android, waking up in the real world after having spent all their existence up to that point in a simulation. And what appeared to have been happening is that it seemed like there had been some sort of disaster that had wiped out humanity, but the last thing they did before it was too late was they set up a computer that was supposed to simulate the minds of various androids who were tasked with solving a series of puzzles. And once they were able to, I think the basic idea was once they were able to overcome every single puzzle in the world, they were then deemed to have reached the point where they could be downloaded into an android body and awoken in the real world. It was an evolutionary algorithm, so essentially the concept was that whenever you died, that was the end of that artificial intelligence, and they would modify it slightly to represent a mutation, and then boot up a new one and see how far that one got. That was like the conceit of the game. That's what was going on, and you found lots of evidence of many generations of androids that came before you, who had met varying levels of success. But you were ultimately the android that you play in the first game was the one that overcome all the challenges, all the puzzles, and as I say, at the very end we awoke in the real world. So, let's get into it. A prophet have no honour in his own country. John 4:44. I've always felt that a human being could only be saved by another human being. James Baldwin. I don't know who James Baldwin is. Initiating firmware. Firmware functional. Loading autonomous program parameters. Version 1.08 loaded. System check passed. Initializing memory banks. Starting autonomous process. Ready. Now here's the interesting thing. I've seen up to this point in the game because I was doing sound testing earlier, and the game seems to begin.
Behold, child, you are risen from the dust.
Oh, that's not good.
And you walk in my garden. Hear now my voice, and know that I am your friend.
Oh no, is my controller broken?
Elohim.
It very much appears like it, doesn't it? Yeah, my controller seems to be broken. That's no good. I'll investigate that at some other point. I guess I'm using mouse and keyboard for now. But yeah, the very interesting thing is this looks very much like the area where we began the first game. And with Elohim greeting us as well. I think I mentioned when we played the first game that I believe Elohim is actually a very old name for God. That's when you get to the very early days of the Jewish faith, before things like what's the name? Monotheism had been firmly established. Although I don't remember the specifics. But anywho, this all happened in the first game, and it looks very much like we're actually not in the real world, but in the simulation again. For reasons unknown. Of course, it's not clear we're actually playing the same character. This even looks like the same puzzle. Much better graphics, but this looks like the same puzzle we did at the start of the previous game. It looks like the starting area all over again. Which is unexpected. Strange noise. Blimey, look at those mountains in the distance.
This land is but a dream. You will stay here only for a little while. Soon, you will awaken in a new world.
Okay.
But first, you must undertake the trials of initiation. They will help me prepare your vessel.
I think essentially they've just reused basically the tutorial section from the first game. I think they've essentially reused it as a tutorial for this game as well. Which I'm not exactly against, but it wasn't what I was expecting is all. There we go, that's some progress. No shortcut out of here. Fair enough. Guess we don't need one. Oh, I see. So that was just there. So we can't get trapped in that room. That makes sense. This isn't it? Dude.
The shapes you are collecting are not mere toys.
Yes?
They are symbols of the process by which our people were created.
Certainly I remember collecting more than a few of these in the past. What do you mean by our people? If you're below him, then you're of a very different nature to the androids.
Well done, my child.
I mean, you were directly created by humans, not evolved. Oh, that's one of the
Do not be afraid
QR
of these
codes.
dream figures and their messages. They are merely aspects of yourself, as am I, after a fashion.
I must forge the tools by which humanity will rebuild itself and transform the world into the Eden that it never was. The blacksmith. So in the previous game, those were messages left by previous iterations of the AI persona. But the notable thing is there's no version number there. Previously, when we played, all the messages left behind had version numbers. Right, okay. Green means easy, yellow means intermediate, red means hard notionally. Hey Pikachu! Lurking and tidying. Well, thank you for dropping by. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a good day so far.
You may linger in my garden for as long as you wish. But remember, my child, that the new world awaits you, and this place is only a dream.
There we go. Through to the next area. I assume I have to complete all the puzzles, right? I can't just leave now. I'm definitely going to attempt to complete all the puzzles. Right, these ones notionally should be a little harder than the ones I did before. Are you familiar with the Talos principle at all, Pikachu? Right, as I suspected, I can't just grab through a force field. What am I missing? I know I can't run through a force field either. What's currently got me a little stuck is I'm not sure how I can interact with the world at present. Yeah, I can't use that until I have something to weigh it down. Oh, I remember. I can pick up the tops of the fans. Right, this is a trivial puzzle then. I'd just forgotten that that was a thing you could do. I heard my name? What? Oh, sorry. I was just asking if you're familiar with the Talos Principle, which is the game I'm playing right now. That's all. Well, I'm playing the Talos Principle 2 specifically. This is a clever way to do it. Okay, so I haven't slid back so far that I can't do an intermediate puzzle. That's good news. Nope, you've not? Okay, well there's a lot of lore from the first game, which I'll spare you. But essentially it's a puzzle game. We're going to be thrown up against a lot of physical puzzles, as it were. The goal is, at present, it may change later on in the game, but at present the goal is to pick up the little Tetris-looking symbols. But to do that, you have to be able to navigate yourself through the world. Like, for example, there's a force field here, which we can't get through. Standing on this will probably turn the force field off, which it does. Putting something down on it would also have the same effect. But this is the object here that I'm holding is also a jammer, so I can also block a force field remotely using that. And as you can see, by changing its position there, I was able to open two force fields at once. Whether that's going to be useful or not, I'm not sure. because I haven't seen the rest of the puzzle. I don't know what the rest of this area looks like. But that's the idea. I just thought I'd give you a bit of an explanation, because if you're lurking, it might help to have some idea what's going on. Hope you don't mind. These purple force fields are different to the blue. The purple ones can't be deactivated. You can walk through them, but you cannot take equipment through them. But you can use equipment through them, like so. If I've done that correctly. So in theory, I should be able to pick up this signal jammer from this side, or force field jammer, or whatever it's called. And yeah, it's still jammed because I jammed it using the other jammer that's stuck on the other side of that purple force field. The jammers don't just block force fields; they'll block anything electronic. Effectively, that's a fan in front of us. If I try to walk forwards, we get blown back by the wind. I can use the jammer to turn it off. And I've got my little Tetris piece.
Excellent.
You're welcome, Pikachu. I played the first game, thoroughly enjoyed it, really interesting lore as well. And then I ended up doing a bunch of like really tough fan-made levels and stuff as well. At least I thought they were tough. And now but that must have been getting on for 2 years ago now, and I haven't obviously touched any of the Talos principles since. And so a lot of this is going to be me remembering how to actually play the game. Well, I mean, the obvious thing to do is to jump on here and see where it takes me. Oh, there's a switch. Where does that go? Oh, that's going to cause that fan to start up, which will blow the cube over. So I now have access to a cube. There's I've forgotten what the community calls them. I'll be honest. But there's like sources and sinks, or I don't know what else to call them, like generators and receptors. And they come in different colours, and obviously you have to match the colour to the correct other colour. I'm pretty sure that receptor is powering that fan. So if I stand in the way of the beam, which won't hurt me, then the fan stops. And it takes a while for it to start again. So all I have to do in this case, I think, is just block the beam using the cube. And then run round here. And I've got my little Tetris piece. I think they're tetrominos, technically. I think that's the proper term. Right, so there's a fan there. Aha. So, a couple of interesting things here. They put a fan piece down here, not a cube. Now this could be used to complete a fan. So fans come in two varieties. There's this variety of fan where the top bolted down, you can't take it apart, and then there are fans that you can take apart, and the top part of a fan that you can take off can be used as a weight. Now the fact that I can power this fan using the top half of a fan makes me think that I'm supposed to, at some stage, I'm going to have to use this as a fan piece as well. So my guess is I use this, that gets me up the top, I grab that cube, and then I have to swap them around, and there's probably like another permanently powered fan up the top, which gets me to the Tetromino, but without the top, would be my guess. That's exactly what we're seeing here. So now I go down, swap them around, take this with me, and we're in business. Oops, never mind. There we go.
Very good.
Thank you, Elohim. So next, it's on to the hard puzzles, I believe. Once I've solved this little puzzle. we go.
I am proud of all my children.
Yeah.
Out of a world of ruins, they have built a new Jerusalem. And there your brothers and sisters await you to celebrate your birth.
Interesting. So they are gendered. I've forgotten if there was any hints of gender in the previous game. Oh, a connector. That's an interesting part. Huh. There's a generator there that's not generating. Oh, because it needs to be connected, presumably. Oh, I remember how this works. Right. So I need to use the connector to connect the generator to the receptacle. But as you can see, that force field's getting in the way. But you can put connectors on top of cubes and then have fans lift the cubes. You can't just have a connector on top of a fan because it gets blown off. It's not the right shape. Apparently the cubes are more stable. Anywho. Two colours, two doors. Right, so they're probably introducing the blue producers and receptacles now. Yes, they are. And usually when you see this, it means you need both. I interpret this as meaning I need red and blue to open that force field. Huh. The cube's probably here so that I can pass a signal higher, I would guess. Because there's a... Right, so I didn't cover this before, but if two beams cross, whether they're the same colour or different, they'll interfere. And both beams will be cut off. Or is it one beam gets through and the other doesn't? I've forgotten. But anyway, you get the idea. The problem is, I would need some way, if I want to connect up the blue, I need to make sure it follows a path where it doesn't cross the red, and the easiest way to do that is by varying the height. Okay, that in principle what I was doing there was the right idea. In practice, the problem was I got the angles wrong. There we go, that'll do it. Well, hey. So far it's been relatively easy. Wait, what was the name of this one? I just realised I walked in and I didn't pay attention to the name. Because the name's often a clue. Destructive interference. Ooh, that'll be what I was talking about before. You getting two beams to cross to achieve some sort of result. Right, that's where we ultimately want to get to. So I'm guessing we have to go through here first. Right. What I would predict is that if I tried to... Yeah, the beams would cross here, as you can see. If I tried to just using the two connectors, connect blue to blue and red to red, the beams would necessarily cross. And that means that they would interfere and you wouldn't be able to... you wouldn't be able to do it. Not unless you found some other way, like varying the height, as I indicated before. Anyway, but with an extra jammer, it's possible. Not jammer, the other one. With an extra connector, it's possible. Because what we do is we effectively go round the other one. Why did that not work? There we go. There we go. Fairly straightforward. So we made sure those beams didn't interfere by having one go round the long way around the other one. Prismatic diffraction. Prismatic diffraction. I don't know why it would be called that. That's just a connector that we can't move. But you can see where it's connected up to. It's connected up to that blue receptacle. Right, so presumably once that has power, that drops and we can get our tetromino. This connector is currently keeping the way we came in open and the way we need to go open. But ultimately... Yes, I see. We need to include that one as well. I'm not sure it's going to be able to get over the force field, though. Ah, it can now. Right. Once the force field's down. So I didn't have that one fully figured out in my head, but... I had the general gist, and that was enough on this occasion. Wait, where did we come in? There. So far, so easy. Which one have I not done? I've done that one. I've not done this one yet. Fundamental connections. Okay. Thought that was a candle on a platform for a second, on a little alcove. But it was nothing of the sort. Ah, is this where we're going? That's where we're going. So the question is, how do we get a blue signal round here with whatever we've been given? We have two connectors. That... Am I being daft? That should be trivial, shouldn't it? Or have I misunderstood something? No, it doesn't appear that I've misunderstood anything. That was just a very, very easy one, for some reason.
Thank you, child. I have finished preparing your vessel.
Excellent.
Now, hear my advice.
Yes?
A new world awaits you, full of dangers and mysteries, signs and wonders. Things that I, in my garden, could never have imagined. In that world, you will have to be careful and smart and curious. But above all else, you will have to be human.
Interesting. Oh, that's not gonna work. There we go.
Step into the light, child, and awaken.
Whatever happens, we're in it together. Lilith. Lilith was the first wife of Adam in some belief systems, isn't she? Before Eve. Wait, what? That didn't work? Oh, okay. We weren't quite central. What do we get? Ab initio.
Ah, you're awake.
Hello
Welcome
there.
to the world of the living.
Hello, Neath. This is new. We barely met anybody in the first game, and when we did, they weren't very communicative. I don't think they had the capacity to speak back then. Only write and signal. Right, so this is Talos 2. Neath. I'm alive. What is going on here? Hi, pleased to meet you.
Oh, you're polite. What a rare combination of traits. If only the algorithm produced more people like you. Oh, but I'm confusing you.
Which combination?
Don't worry. Everyone is confused at first. You see, we all start out without a full knowledge of our own history, so we have the freedom to form our own opinions.
I could really use some pointers.
Of course. You want the short version or the long version?
Give me the short version. I'd like the long version, please. I want to know everything in an excruciating amounts of detail. I think that one.
All right, you asked for it.
I did.
A long time ago, our ancestors dominated this planet. We call ourselves human, like they did, but they were organic. They built an advanced technological civilization, but unfortunately their impact on the ecosphere caused changes in the climate, and an extremely contagious virus was released from the permafrost.
Oh, right. Didn't they have advanced medicine too? So we know what medicine is.
That's something our historians still debate. Why weren't they more prepared? Why did they invest so many resources into making war, and so few into useful research? It's hard to understand. But no matter the reason, in the end, they simply ran out of time.
So where did we come from then?
A team led by a scientist, Alexandra Drennan, began a project that was intended to create a new humanity. But knowing that there wasn't enough time, Drennan initiated a process, a series of iterations inside a simulation that would lead to the emergence of true artificial intelligence. That's why we remember Drennan as the progenitor. The simulation was controlled by Elohim, who wasn't really meant to be intelligent in the proper sense of the word. But it all took much longer than anyone had expected. And over the centuries, Elohim actually became sentient.
I see.
Sentient and afraid. He didn't want the simulation to end.
Yes, I had a vague
so
recollection
he
of
tried
that.
to cheat. I feel sorry for him, really. The whole simulation was built around learning to defy him. It must have been hard to be in that position.
He didn't seem that bad when we spoke to him in my dreams. I suspect that wasn't the same Elohim.
When the simulation was completed, he became part of all of us, and it really changed him. It freed him, I think. You'll always hear him in sleep mode, taking care of you.
Okay.
That's what he is, after all.
That's a little worrying.
A caretaker.
Was there anyone else in the simulation?
Yes, there was Milton, the intelligence in charge of the archive, a project initiated by Arkady Chernyshevsky, which was meant to collect all of humankind's knowledge. His story is a lot like Elohim's, but Milton became the ultimate cynic. They say he's part of us too, in some way.
Interesting. In what sense specifically? Because you are programmed at the end of the day. In what way has he been incorporated into you? And the simulation
Indeed.
created us?
Long after our ancestors died out, the first new human was born. We call her the Founder, although the name she took was Athena. She then woke up Cornelius and Eustathius. Together, using the tools left behind by the progenitor's team, they created 10 more humans. These 12 who followed the Founder are known as the First Companions. Athena and the First Companions then set out to rebuild the world, and they founded the city of New Jerusalem.
Athena
But then
was the
one
goddess
day,
of wisdom, of
she
course.
suddenly disappeared. Many still await her return.
And how do I fit in?
Before the founder vanished,
Ah, are you
she set a
33 because you were
goal
the
for this city.
33rd
We call
android
it
made?
the goal.
33rd.
Capital G and all. To make 1,000 new humans, and so complete New Jerusalem. Well, that's the official story, the way the mayor tells it.
Why have you struggled to make 1,000 as of yet? Is it because the original bodies were made by humans and you've used all those up and now you don't have the manufacturing to make more? So what's the unofficial story?
Some of the first companions, like Byron,
Miss Poet?
believe that Athena really wanted us to stop growing. They think her ideas have been twisted and embellished.
And what do you think?
They may be right, but I didn't see Athena very much in the years before she left. Maybe actually leaving the simulation and seeing the destruction left behind by our ancestors changed her mind.
Thank you, that was pretty exhaustive.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask them. When you're done, head outside. They're waiting for you.
I
Your
missed one of the
birth is
names.
quite the event.
If my birth is quite the event, they either have a very ritualistic society, or perhaps ritualistic isn't quite the right word, but they're very into their formal events, or this doesn't happen very often. Which would be consistent with my theory about them having used up all the bodies that the humans originally produced, and now they're having manufacturing problems. For their population to grow, and in fact even to maintain their population, they need to be able to make more android bodies, and I do wonder if they currently lack that ability. Tell me about yourself.
Me? Well, as you can tell by my number, I'm quite old. I wasn't one of the first companions, but I did know Athena personally. She and Cornelius taught me a lot. Although I suppose I've made a few improvements here and there since those days.
I thought you said you
We
didn't
didn't have
interact
a lot to
with them
work with in the beginning.
Also, you say, as you can see from my number, that I was one of the early ones. I don't actually know that, because supposing, for example, there had only been 20 android bodies made by humans, you know, it could have taken them a century or more to get to the point of being able to make you, but clearly that's not the case. What else was I thinking? There is actually a third possibility. It may not be that they're really into their formal events, and it may not be that it doesn't happen often. It could be that I'm a milestone. Perhaps I'm number 1,000 or something. Will there be more new humans after me?
You've only just been born, and already you step right into a major controversy.
Well, I
The
want to get
goal,
involved.
as most people understand it, was fulfilled the moment you were born.
Right, I am 1,000.
Now New Jerusalem is complete, and we can live in balance, without damaging the world like our ancestors did. That's the orthodox view, I suppose. But there are
Orthodox.
many who disagree. You'll have to figure out where you stand for yourself.
I wonder if there's actually 1,000 NPCs in this game that you can encounter. I suspect not. Ah, hang on a minute. When did they start counting the numbers? They said they made 10, didn't they? That Athena woke up, and then she woke up Cornelius and someone else whose name I missed. It started with E-U-T-H. Youth. I think it was something like Youth Tacitus or something, but I missed it, unfortunately. Right. Was Athena number 1? Was Cornelius and Youth... I'll go with Tacitus until I know for sure what their name was. Were they 1 and 2, or did they only start numbering them once they started making new ones? New humans? Because they did state that Athena only had to wake up the other two, whereas the humans after that, they were manufacturing, apparently. Hold on, am I immortal? We're probably biologically immortal, but our bodies can be destroyed, would be my guess. Although I suppose it's possible they might make regular backups of our memories and personality and so on, so that they can be restored.
You won't age like our ancestors did, but of course, there is always some wear and tear. You should probably schedule a checkup every decade or so.
Every decade.
Oh, and be a bit careful with water.
Oh.
You won't die if it rains or anything, but we're running low on insulation material. I wouldn't go swimming if I were you.
Okay then. So that's the developers telling me that they're going to use water as obstacles to confine the areas I can get to, as a sort of as an equivalent to an invisible wall. What will you do now that your job is obsolete? That's quite the that's a perfectly interesting question, but that's quite on the nose.
I haven't really thought about it. This is all I've done for the last few centuries, and
Few centuries.
I like doing it. I guess for now I'll just take a break and we'll see what happens.
I don't know what a few would be in this context, but let's say it's 5. Let's say she's been at this for 5 centuries. That means they were averaging about 2 androids a year. That would make the birth of a new android a rare thing then. I'm ready to get going.
Oh, one more thing. Like all citizens of New Jerusalem, you have access to the interface, which you can use to read the news, chat to your fellow citizens, and so on.
They have news already then.
It's a crucial tool, and modular too. You can easily add new functions. Just don't subscribe to too many newsletters at once.
Okay, open PDA interface. Welcome to New Jerusalem social media. Please familiarize yourself with the following rules. Treat everyone with respect regardless of their number. Don't take the founder's name in vain. That's concerning-ish. Which one was the founder? Was that Alexandra Drennan? She was the progenitor. Athena's probably the founder. Respect the principles of the girl. The Are Frogs People discussion is now banned. Inactive threads will be archived. If you have any issues, please ping the moderators, Jeremy, Niam, and Aronax. Interesting. So Niam is 11. So they might be one of the original... I suppose they would be one of the original 12, wouldn't they? Interesting. Aronax. Completion Day celebration. Dear citizens... this is... So who's this? This isn't someone we're familiar with. Hermanubis. 452. Dear citizens of New Jerusalem, your hard work and faith in the Founder's vision has finally paid off. At long last, the goal established so long ago will finally be reached. The 1,000th member of our family will be born, and our beautiful city will finally be complete. Jeremy, as space at the dam is limited, tickets will be made available via a lottery system. The celebration will also be streamed. Interesting. Am I a guest of honor, or... You know, given that it is technically my birth that you're celebrating. It doesn't look like I can post. Log. Neath. Oh, this is our conversation. Which means I can get the name of the... The individual I missed. Oh, sorry, it wasn't EUTH, it was EUST. Youth Atheus. Atheus. Eustace Atheus. Eustace Atheus. Awoken by Athena and Cornelius. Awoken by Athena. Oh, actually, the one that was 11 might not be a member of the original 12 if they only started numbering them after the first after the first 3 had woken up. Because if the original 12 were Cornelius, Eustathius, and the 10 more humans they created, then that would make the 11th individual not one of them, potentially. Why are there 2 separate logs for talking to Neith? One which begins with, you're awake, welcome to the world of the living, and then just... Oh, we're called 1K. Interesting. I wonder if we'll get to pick a different name for ourselves. Oh well. Let's keep going, shall we? Wow. Beautiful graphics. Where's that coming from? Oh, are we No, we may not be underwater. That may just be an area where they've stored a lot of water for some reason. Anything I can interact with? Doesn't look like it. How am I going to end up doing puzzles? This is a puzzle game, right? Like the previous game in the series. Are they going to... Is part of the celebrations going to be testing me specifically? What did they do to that glass? It's got a sort of hexagonal pattern to it. I wonder how that happened and why. Institute for Applied Pneumatics. L Factor facility. Right, so that is significant. This tells me, this was going to be my next question, did they build this place or was this left behind by the humans? This appears to have been left behind by the humans centuries ago. The degree to which they've been able to just keep using the same resources, or the degree to which they've had to rebuild everything or something in the middle, I don't know. Okay, I can't enter this area for whatever reason. So this seems to be a dead end, at least for us up to this point. This is a reconstruction of the chamber of the first companions, where the first companions rested until the founder awoke them. The original chamber was disassembled in the early days of New Jerusalem. Right, so they have been disassembling and reassembling then. But that panel clearly came from the old human facility. See, one of the things I'm trying to establish is, do they have decent manufacturing yet, or are they just cannibalizing stuff that the humans left behind? Also, interesting language. If that's their written language. There does seem to be spaces separating things here. But there's far fewer like groupings of there's far fewer groups of marks than there are words in English. In the English version. I'm just trying to figure out how this writing system works. It seems to be very heavily compressed. Like, for example, I wouldn't even assume that that is the word this, because like I say, it seems like each group of marks can represent multiple words. I think whatever the English is, if this even is English in any proper sense, as opposed to having been outright translated, I would suggest that this has been very heavily compressed, possibly using something like a is it Hoffman coding? Just checking the name. Huffman. That's where you would look at the frequency of certain patterns, and then you would assign some sort of some pattern of bits based on it, so that the more frequent things that come up can be expressed in fewer bits. And so, for example, this pattern of lines, dots, and circles and so on could be some sort of binary encoding. Well, I say binary encoding, I mean like it may be something more like base 64 or something. But then what they could have done is then put a Hoffman coding over the top of it, so that like these two symbols there might simply represent, or might represent all of this is A, if this is A comes up a lot in written English. But even that might not be how they've done it. They may have actually redesigned the language from the ground up and done away with things that they thought weren't necessary. Like they could have tried to remove most what's it called, most function words in preference to content words. I think I've got those terms slightly wrong, but like you could simplify this a lot and it still be intelligible. You could simplify it to like reconstruction, chamber, first companions, first companions rested. Oh, it could be reconstruction, chamber, where first companions rested, founder awoke them, original disassembled, early days, or something like that. You could remove most of the words there and it still makes sense. They could have constructed a language on that basis.
Look, it's 1K.
Hello.
Hey 1K! Welcome to New Jerusalem!
Are we male or female?
Shouldn't the mayor be starting his speech?
This should be interesting.
At least give him a chance.
Dear citizens of New Jerusalem,
Yeah,
many years
humanibus.
ago, when the founder stepped forth from the simulation, this was a land of ruins. Our ancestors, in their hubris, undermined the natural foundations on which their world had been built. Because of their arrogance, our species found itself on the brink of annihilation. The founder aimed to set us on a new course.
You never even met the founder.
Her vision was of a city, a new civilization that would know its limits. It would not repeat the mistakes of the past, nor impose its will on this earth. To that end, she set the great goal we have been striving towards. 1,000 new humans. And today we have... Oh dear!
Oh dear.
What's that?
I have no idea what that is.
People of New Jerusalem.
Prometheus.
I am Prometheus, and I will reveal that which was hidden. The flame has awoken and summons you. Who is brave enough to answer its call? We await you upon our island where... Curse you, Pandora. You will not chain me again.
Well, that was unexpected. Prologue, Brave New World. Got to head out. Sorry, was lurking the whole time. Busy. Have an excellent stream. Thank you, Pikachu. I hope you had a decent time. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
I told you we should have investigated those energy readings. And I told him there's something up with those structures.
The mayor's just being cautious.
This isn't caution, it's stagnation. Exploration? Too dangerous. Expansion? Too dangerous. We barely even scavenge anymore.
You call it stagnation, I call it balance.
And I call you an idiot.
Here's a thought. Try to be a little more diplomatic when you talk to the mayor.
See what I'm working with here, 1K? I'm gonna need a fresh pair of eyes on this expedition. Someone who hasn't spent several centuries hearing about the goal and the founder and all that nonsense. If you're up for an adventure, meet us at the conference room.
I get the feeling this is going to be some sort of theme of the game that we're going to be forced to choose between. Balance or progress. But the problem is, I do actually strongly think Byron is right. And there's a few reasons for that. Goodness me, they've done a good job building a city, haven't they? But why are they in a dome, since they don't presumably need a specific atmosphere? Maybe to keep the rain out? But then what's keeping the plant life alive? Unless it's artificial. Anyway, what I was going to say is, what happens, for example, when the sun goes red giant? They're not going to survive that. They need to get off-world in the long term. I'll grant you they have millions of years to do it. But I mean, this is a genuine problem that humanity faces in the real world. Even if we manage to survive for a few more million years, which is hardly a given, the Earth isn't going to be inhabitable forever. I've forgotten how long it is. I think we do literally have at least hundreds of millions of years left, if not thousands of millions, before the sun renders the planet uninhabitable. But that's gonna happen eventually. Like, if humanity in any sense is going to have a future into the very distant future, we need to get off world. And they're going to have the same problem, so they can't just stagnate forever. They are going to have to deal with the fact that at some point they need to get off world. But even
What's broken now?
Huh. So things break often then. Where was I? They need to get off world. But it's worse than that, because from what we've been told... Oh, sorry, I was going to make 2 points. One is that I very much doubt that 1,000 people would be enough to build the sort of resources you would need to get off-world. I suspect they need a larger population to do something like that anyway. I mean, I don't know what it would actually take in real terms. I suppose they're very long-lived, so they could do things very, very slowly. But, you know, I would assume you'd be looking at, even with a very, very well-organised people, you'd probably want, I would guess, like 100,000 people or so to realistically have a prospect of significant space travel. Could be wrong. But apart from all that, what are they going to do to replace each other when they, like, break down? We heard it in the little, whatever this is, monopod? I don't know. And whatever this thing is. We heard it there, that they're barely scavenging anymore. And they're not exploring new spaces. And what happens when they no longer have the resources to fix things? We just heard, apparently things break often. Oh, it's got a little nose sign. Does that mean I'm not allowed to interact? I guess so. So the fact of the matter is, I've already come down quite strongly in Byron's favour. I don't think there's much of a question there. They need to be progressing. only up to a point. Like, they did. I think there is an argument towards. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I think there is an argument towards having everyone become satisfied with a certain level of a certain standard of living, and then just everyone lives happily ever after, if you will. But that is to say, progress just for progress' sake. There is an argument that there's is not necessarily what's best for the individual if it generates more unhappiness. But in my eyes, they're not doing the bare minimum up till now. They need to, at the minimum, have plans for, right, how are we getting off-world? How do we make sure that when this planet becomes uninhabitable, that isn't the end of us and our civilization? Oh, blimey. We're on some sort of lift. Okay, that was interesting. I guess those were guards to the entrance, but why would they need guards unless they had some...
Alright, listen up. I know you're all having fun down there, but the grid is overloaded again, so maybe you could switch off your personal consoles or your lawn mowers, or whatever the hell you've all decided to switch on all at once. I might not be around to babysit you for a while, and you don't want stuff breaking while Pellegrino's in charge, do you? That's it. That's it. Don't worry, okay? I see you there in the elevator. I'll have you moving again in a jiffy.
There's a camera.
Great way to start life in the city, huh? What the hell is a jiffy? These bloody language libraries.
Yeah, that actually is worrying on a few levels. Like, it looked like they had guards to the entrance. Why would they have guards unless they had some level of civil disorder? Like, if you lived in a perfectly functioning society, there would be no need for guards. That implies that there is at least some criminal activity. There is some fear of possible people acting in a dangerous way. And then there's the whole oh, hey Ozpin, lovely to see you. I hope you have a good day. Thank you for dropping by. I hope you enjoy having me in the background. Currently I'm just talking through some of the ramifications of this world we've seen so far in this game. Some of the social ramifications. So as I was saying, having guards, if that is what they were, is worrying. I'm also somewhat perturbed by the fact that they apparently had a camera in this elevator. Again, what would be the point unless they were worried about some sort of civil unrest? It doesn't seem like the perfect society that we're being... It seems to have been being sold to us as. Oh, I remember the other thing I was going to say. If I can go back here, I can. Well, you can. Oh, you can just about see through here. We're in a dome. There's buildings beyond the dome, and these are big buildings. These look. If these are still inhabited, that suggests there's way more than 1,000 people. If they're not still inhabited, then what are they doing there? Like, if centuries have passed since the original humans were around, that is the non-android humans, those buildings would have crashed to the ground a long time ago. There was a TV series called Life After People that looked at that exact question. And yeah, like, without constant maintenance, modern buildings do not last long. Like, a few decades. Like a century at most in most cases. Things are not built to last, not without maintenance. Something like that would not still be there. So I have to conclude it has been either built recently or built recently or continuously maintained since humans were no longer there. So what's going on? Is the overall point I'm getting at. You don't need that many big buildings for just 1,000 people. Like, I feel like that building, judging by the size of it, could probably house 1,000 people at least. Let alone the rest of it. Also, the art is very interesting. That appears to be a Homo sapien. More Homo sapiens. Tents, and presumably more Homo sapiens, although it's hard to see, they're so small. It's very beautiful. Looks like an oil painting. I wonder if that's a real painting in the real world, or if they made it for the game. And in game terms, I wonder where they got it from. Like in this world, was that something they found from the human archives, or is it something one of the androids has built? Okay, we can't go that way. Be humble, recognizing the limits. We are not above nature. There's a lot more writing there than compared to the English than in the previous example.
Hey, hold on there. You're the newbie, aren't ya? Number 1000. I figured the dam would go dry before we reach the goal. I have a question. How does it feel to you to be born with a randomized psyche into a society of autonomous thinking machines which so much resemble their long-extinct ancestors, they've decided it's best that you're the last one ever made?
I don't believe in feelings, I'm just a machine. Oh, you're 666, interesting. Let's go with that one. I don't believe in feelings, I'm just a machine.
Do you want to get on the non-cooperative path with me? Because that's how you get on the non-cooperative path. It's not fun.
Right, it's not fun, because I can't have fun, because I don't believe in feelings.
It's kind of frowned on to say that sort of thing around here. But the truth is, I think exactly the same. But let's you and I keep that between us, alright? Now listen, this meeting isn't strictly happenstance. I have some friends. The kind of people who like to know what's going on with other people. They think you can help each other out.
Interesting. What do we think? It seems a bit shady, but by the same token, they haven't suggested we do anything that we know would be wrong up to this point. I don't see why I wouldn't meet them to be aware of them. I'm curious to meet these people.
Of course you are. You know how to use the interface, right? I'll talk to my friends and see if I can't play matchmaker. And before you go, a word of advice. Not everything around here is how it appears.
Just realised red. Doge 666 with a red design and indications that they may not have any feelings. I mean, I was saying that stuff largely to joke, but they seemed, as far as I could tell, to genuinely believe it. I wonder if they're going to play some sort of devil on our shoulder type role in the game. Six, of course, being the number of the beast. Historically associated with the devil. Another beautiful painting.
Welcome.
Hello.
Please join us at the table.
Of course.
I would like to preface this meeting by saying I told you something would happen sooner or later, and you didn't listen to me. And here we are.
If we could focus on the issue at hand.
The issue at hand is not this one thing, but this entire attitude that's taken hold. The world doesn't cease to exist when you stick your head in the sand, Herman. Or under a dome, as it were.
Let's not get sidetracked. We're here to solve this puzzle, not to discuss philosophy.
Keep listening.
Al's right. Let's move past this for now and deal with this transmission. Yakut, please start the briefing.
All right, here we go. Nice to meet you, by the way, 1K. We first became aware of the site designated TTP-2 during a scouting expedition about 6 months ago. It's a large island with a remarkably varied geography, and it looks like there are several artificial structures of some kind.
You were scouting up to a few months ago.
Extremely unusual fluctuating energy readings from somewhere in the middle of the island, but couldn't really make sense of them. I wanted to go and have a closer look, but the decision was made that it was too far and not relevant to the goal. Now it looks like whatever's on that island has reached out to us instead, in the form of that projection.
We may not be interested in the island, but the island is definitely interested in us.
This sounds like a mystery worth investigating. Let's split up and search for clues.
I don't share your enthusiasm for the unexpected, but Byron has been requesting an expedition for some time now. And at this point, I'm forced to agree that it's necessary.
I agree.
Then it's settled. The expedition is approved.
Excellent.
Byron, you will be in charge. Al will be your second in command to ensure a balanced approach. You'll take Melville and Yakut as you requested, and if 1K wants to join you, that's fine by me.
I'm in. I like the fact I could refuse. That suggests that I don't have to do this, that I do actually have meaningful choices in the game, and I could do something completely different. I wonder what that would be.
Excellent. Oh, this is going to be fun. Come meet us out on the landing pad when you're ready.
Before you set out so hastily, do consider exploring the city first. It is your home, after all.
That's a good idea. Have a look around. See what you make of the place.
Join the expedition. I'm liking this game so far. Research. Started expedition procedures. Basic information from our first expedition. This is the test. Please ignore. That looks like Greek. Just testing the system to see if it works properly this time, so we don't have another incident like when Pellegrino uploaded his poetry to the public log. I see. I've got Melville written down already on my list of people. Oh, and in fact this is who wrote the test, but I'm not sure who Melville is. Yakut. The island designated TTP-2 was first noted during the return journey from a scouting expedition which was diverted from its intended path due to an unexpected weather front. Long-range scans identified the presence of large artificial structures and also returned highly unusual energy readings. The matter was not investigated further. I wonder if this was something left behind by the humans, perhaps another AI project. I wonder if they're going to test this generation of androids to see what they're capable of. I wonder if that's where we're going with this. In ancient times, the northern part of the island was home to several large settlements, but rising sea levels have obliterated these and flooded the northern lowlands. The south, in stark contrast, seems to be a harsh and lifeless desert. Our intended base camp is near the origin of the energy readings in the temperate centre of the island. Chapter 4 of Whittington's Cat and another cat that visited strange countries. Goodness. As no works about cats could be complete without the story of Dick Whittington from... and then it seems to end. These are the standard operating procedures for expeditions, just uploading them to remind Byron, who will probably ignore them anyway, attaching a picture from an ancient book to get his attention. Maintain the ideals of the founder and the girl. Prioritize the well-being of the expedition members over mission completion. One expedition member to stay by the vehicle at all times. Expedition leaders should refrain from participating in high-risk activities, minimize vehicle use to conserve fuel, prioritize observation over interference. In case of emergency, return to New Jerusalem at once. Let me reread those. Maintain the ideals of the founder and the goal. Right. Not entirely clear what that means. The goal's been complete. What the ideals of the founder are, I don't know. Prioritize the well-being of the expedition members over mission completion. Right. One expedition member to stay by the vehicle at all times. Okay. Expedition leaders should refrain from participating in high-risk activities. So they'd be a good candidate to stay by the vehicle then. Minimize vehicle use to conserve fuel. So there's a fuel shortage, presumably. Prioritize observation over interference. And in case of emergency, return to New Jerusalem at once. Got it. Please familiar yourself with the following rules. Oh, we've already seen that. Budahas. Seriously, what just happened in the sky? We all saw that, right? I didn't accidentally turn on sleep mode while Herman was talking, did I? I mean, it's always tempting. No, we all saw it. That was Letitia. Zagaran. Can confirm. Ovis. I believe it was a sign from the founder. What else could it be on this day of all days? It does seem like a coincidence that it would be on this day that would happen, though. How did they come up with the goal of 1,000? Was that not arbitrarily chosen, or did Athena find out that that was the original intention of the humans, the Homo sapiens? And why would they have got a signal on that day, of all days, unless the people that sent that signal was aware of the goal and aware of the fact that it had been completed? Honestly, the most logical explanation is that there's a splinter group that has been building things separate from New Jerusalem. Possibly related to Doge. Possibly they want to achieve some sort of goal. Maybe it's to try and encourage the mayor to actually encourage more growth and expedition. Maybe it's something else completely selfish. I don't know. But it seems like I just noticed their profile pictures are very interesting. It seems to me more likely that that signal, that projection originated from some offshoot of their own civilization than something entirely different, like a different AI project that humans set up, but we'll see. Zakaran, pretty incoherent for a sign. It didn't even finish whatever it was trying to say. What does the founder have energy insufficiency problems too? I mean, why wouldn't they? The founder was just the android that woke up first. The person we were playing in the first game. There's nothing, no reason to think they would have infinite supply of energy. The founder works in mysterious ways. Yeah, they do seem to be forming themselves into a very, under very religious terms, don't they? Maybe it really was a sign. I don't think it was a sign. I don't think it was a sign in the sense that they think it was. I could believe that it was either a form of communication or more likely a way to try and control people. Trying to how do I put this? Trying to manipulate people, essentially. But I don't agree with this view of the founder as some sort of profound entity, and I do not agree that even if it was the founder that was ultimately responsible for that signal, I don't think it should be given a religious significance. I don't think it was a sign in that sense. It could simply be that the founder has some strange ideas about what they think should happen next, and they thought that that was the best way to go about it. I don't think it was a sign. So we can reply. Out of the mouths of babes. How could such a remarkable display of unimagined powers not be a sign? It's something, but not necessarily the founder. It could be a sign, but that doesn't mean it's intentional. Or it could be a coincidence, a technological accident. It's something, but not necessarily the founder. Sounds reasonable enough to me. Something weird is going on for sure, but what? We'll have to see. Riddles and puzzles are the foundation of our journeys. So it began, perhaps so it will continue. End of thread. Who had the authority to end that thread? Because it wasn't... people were still posting. It was still active. Someone made that decision. Admittedly, they didn't take the post down, so far as I can see. But someone still forcibly ended the thread. Interesting. Very interesting.
What can I do for you, 1K?
Just a chat. How did you decide to become involved in politics?
It was a time of great uncertainty. The founder had left us, and our society was at a crossroads. History teaches us that during such times, terrible passions may seize the people. Madness, anger, revolution, civil war. Our fragile city could not afford such things. That is why the founder gave us the goal, a path to equilibrium, not only for the planet, but for ourselves. I merely picked up where she left off.
Did you though? If you're 452, you're quite late then. I mean, like, more than halfway through, unless they were producing androids much more quickly in the beginning. I do like his lisp. How do you feel about Byron?
He is one of the first companions, and as such has done more for our city than you or I ever will. I simply wish he could be more reasonable.
What's your vision of the future?
I believe we can exist quietly, happily, without imposing ourselves on this world, finding meaning within ourselves and in the natural miracles that surround us.
I have to go.
It's always a pleasure to speak to a citizen.
Oh, I'm glad. I am a citizen then. That tells me two things. That tells you that you have the concept of citizenship, and that I have been entitled to it simply by birth, so it would seem. That's very interesting. Do you have any non-citizens? Presumably animals, but I mean, you call yourself humans. Do you have any human non-citizens? Quite dirty, aren't they, these windows? I appreciate it may be difficult to clean the windows this far up, but you'd have thought they would have thought of that. Jeremy.
Hello, 1K.
Hello.
This expedition is taking a lot of our resources. I'm really not sure it's a good idea. But what's done is done. So I have a lot of work to get on with.
Who are you?
I'm the mayor's chief aide.
Oh. A succinct answer, but very informative. You're also a moderator, according to my notes. What do you do around here?
All the things no one else wants to do. Polling the citizenry, implementing new policies, recording decisions, fielding questions people could answer elsewhere.
Implementing new policies, interesting. Not enforcing them, implementing them. And not originating them either. Implementing them. Interesting. What do you make of recent events?
Our goal as custodians of New Jerusalem is survival and stability. Our ancestors proved human civilization is precarious. This apparition in the sky, and now your expedition to its supposed source, these are more precarious than stable. I don't like it.
What do you think of me?
You represent the completion of the goal. I'm proud of what we've achieved, and the restraint
proud
we
of me?
show in not pushing ourselves further.
What do you want? That's a bit on the nose, but still.
For our people to be happy with what we have. Some of us may have an adventurous spirit, but that can never be sated. What matters to me is having my loved ones around me, safe and secure.
That's very sweet, but for the reasons I indicated earlier, I don't think that's sustainable indefinitely. I like the idea. I think there's certainly a lot that could be done with that idea, but I do think you need to be... I do think you've stopped short of the mark. I do think there is more that needs to be done before you can rest on your laurels. Thanks, I won't keep you any longer. I take it I can't read that. No. Oh, a helicopter. Presumably once I go in there, that's it though. So perhaps, since I was invited to inspect the city, perhaps I go back the other way? First, I assume this isn't going to make any difference. You know, how quickly I go where. Which is to say, I assume that...
Attention all citizens. Due to the new power management and distribution plan, there will be scheduled outages on Jameson Avenue and Rakovsky Plaza. The Gehenna Memorial Pavilion will remain closed for the time being. Thank you.
Gehenna.
And may the founder be with you.
Wasn't Gehenna the DLC we did? And didn't we save some... I've forgotten what his name was, but some devil-like figure. I think we saved them at the end of the DLC, although we were given a choice. If more people are woke in the DLC, and they're not aware of it, they could have gone off and done something on their own, which New Jerusalem isn't aware of. I suppose the question is, where physically would their bodies have woken? And could they have, you know, would it have been around here? And if so, could they have got out without being spotted? Damien.
Hello, 1K. Welcome to New Jerusalem.
Thank you.
I know you've just had a big moment with the apparition at the dam and all that, but can I have a second of your time?
Of course. Sure, go ahead.
I'm collecting signatures to call for a public referendum on the city's energy crisis.
What's the problem?
Currently, the city runs on hydroelectric power from the dam, plus a handful of geriatric generators and some unreliable solar panels, none of which is enough to even cover our basic needs. And if anything fails, we'll be on the brink of extinction in a matter of days.
Extinction? That's interesting. So you can't power down fully and then be powered back up then, presumably. What do you propose?
We need to investigate new sources of reliable baseline power. We need to invest time and resources into functional, real-world solutions that serve human needs.
Why a referendum and not an election?
Oh, an election would be good too, but I believe that we need more direct democratic control over the affairs of the city.
Interesting. Do you work at the dam?
No, I help run the public transit system, but I witness the impact of the city's power problems every day. We can't just wish them away.
I'm largely giving a lot of credit to what he's saying because we've already seen a lot of evidence of serious power shortages. What do you make of Prometheus?
Byron's been advocating exploring that island for some time, and obviously he's right. Something very strange is going on there, and it's going to start affecting us.
Tell me more about Byron.
In all honesty, I think Byron is the smartest, most visionary person in this city. He's everything we need, and I don't understand why he won't run for mayor.
Provide digital signature.
Thanks, 1K.
You're welcome.
I don't know if this petition will really accomplish anything by itself, but at this point, I'm willing to try anything.
Good luck with everything. What does that say? Provide your digital signature to someone. Sign our petition for a public referendum. New Jerusalem needs new forms of energy generation.
Founder, bless you.
Thank you. Nimi and Sartaz. Damjan. I'm all for the arts, genuinely, but one does have to also wonder what people are doing in general. Like, how have they organised their society? What work has to be accomplished and who's accomplishing that work? Are all their work needs being met? I don't know, it just seems, again, nothing against the arts. In fact, I would in a perfect society, I would very much like to see them heavily promoted. But for a society that's apparently on the brink of crisis, I do find it surprising to see someone sitting around, someone who appears to be perfectly able-bodied, sitting around playing music in the middle of the day. Then again, they are androids. To what extent does it make a difference whether it's day or night to them? I don't know. That's not to say that they were definitely wrong to be doing that, just it raises important questions that I don't yet have an answer to. Hello, what have we found here? Is this the Gehenna Memorial? Because it looks closed. Gehenna Memorial Exhibition 312. Postponed in accordance with the new power management and distribution plan. Can I not crouch? Maybe not. Well, if they built that and had it running in the past, that suggests that the energy problems have begun recently. When I say recently, these are very long-lived beings. It could have been... we could be talking about over 100 or 200 years, but... there clearly was a time before they had those problems. Still within living memory. Friends of New Jerusalem Gazebo.
Speculating on the meaning of this Prometheus figure is premature until we can agree on its nature.
You already have a theory.
I know it's beyond any projection technology I'm aware of.
If it wasn't us, it must be alien.
Oh, they're all looking at me. Stay quiet.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. 1K, we'd appreciate your thoughts on this. Now we've achieved the goal, fresh perspectives like yours will be increasingly hard to come by.
I'd love to get a quote from you for this evening's newsletter.
Speculation aside, 1K, is there anything we can know for sure about this Prometheus?
What matters? It can have come from the city. It appeared to be human. It's surely some kind of trick. Whatever it is, it came from inside the city. It directed us to an island somewhere. We can be sure of that. We can't be sure whether it came from inside or outside the city. It did appear to be human, but that's not much of a comment. I think it directed us to an island somewhere is probably the best we've got.
That's undeniably true, and what does that tell us?
We must treat its direction with suspicion. We may learn more by following its direction. The center of this message is obviously at that location. I have no idea. We may learn more by... I kind of agree with both of these. Like, hope for the best, plan for the worst. Like, we should definitely check it out, but that doesn't mean we should preclude the possibility of unfriendly intent. We learn more by following its directions.
That was my conclusion as well. The apparition also appeared to be human. What can we assume from that?
We can probably understand its meaning. We have no hope of understanding its meaning. The origin must also be human. I have no idea. We can probably understand its meaning, I guess. If I'm interpreting that correctly, what they mean is it clearly shared... Whatever the origin of the message was, it has some shared knowledge. It knows about humans. There is clearly some cultural overlap.
I tend to agree. I'm also sure that we lack the knowledge ourselves to create a projection of such clarity and magnitude.
It must have been someone within the city. It couldn't possibly be someone within the city. The cause of this phenomenon is more technologically advanced than we are. Broadly, I'm not ruling out the possibility it could be someone within the city that has just solved a bunch of technological problems and hasn't published it.
Precisely. And that's something we can change.
What makes you think it was a projection at all? How do we know it wasn't just a mass hallucination?
I considered some kind of bug in our code, but if so, it would have to be shared by all of us.
So, we're speculating again.
We've locked in the premises. I'd like to hear 1K's best guess.
I'd guess one of our kind is behind all this. I don't think one of us is behind all this. I'd rather not answer. I think it's more likely that than anything else. I can't be 100% sure. I'm not saying this is definitely the case, but playing the probabilities, I think it's more likely to be one of our kind than not. Most likely a citizen of New Jerusalem, most likely the government of New Jerusalem, most likely someone outside New Jerusalem. Beyond that, I can't really say.
Can I quote you on that?
Yes, but it's just a theory. I mean, I don't like yes, I'm sure I'll be proved right, because that's arrogant.
Theories are all we can reasonably have right now, though I'm sure that won't come between Crier and a sensational headline. Well,
oh, Crier, because he's like a town crier.
With me. Let's hope the mayor signs off on exploring this island. I only wish I could join the expedition.
Why can't you join the expedition?
If Melville's going, someone has to stay behind to keep the lights on. I'm not letting Pellegrino near the dam. I hope the next time we speak we'll have a bit more data to go on.
Friends of New Jerusalem. Ah, you're 587.
Oh?
Be constant. Remember the goal. Perfection is unchanging. Slightly worrying slogan.
Happy completion day.
Thank you. Is that completion of the goal day or completion of me day? Goodness me, I'm just trying to come to terms with how large this place is. Hello there. talk to Skula.
Oh wow, it's you.
It is.
You're 1K, the incarnation of the goal. Man, this is exciting. This is more exciting than I thought it would be. How are you? What does it feel like? Do you know where the founder is? Do you know who Prometheus is? Can you tell me what to do with my life?
Oh, blimey. Whoa, hold on. One question at a time.
Sorry, it's just such an honor to meet you, you know? Hey, can I have your digital signature? I have the Mayor, Rand, Linux, Kaneda, and all of the first companions. Except Yemo and Sarabai, of course.
Why, of course? That's a horrible response. Get away from me. Yema and the other one that I didn't catch the name of, I'll have to go back and look at the log. Provide digital signature.
Yes! Thank you!
You're welcome.
Hey, can I ask you a question? Just one question, I promise.
You can ask me several if you want. Go ahead.
I used to make the prefab wall parts that we used to build living quarters. Got good at it too. But now that the goal is complete, I don't know what to do with myself. So I asked the wisest people in town. The mayor told me I should do whatever the city needs most. Helga said I should do whatever makes me happy. I think that's what she meant anyway. And Cornelius told me I need to figure out who and what I'm invested in. You're the culmination of the founder's will. Tell me, what should I do?
What are our options here? Helga is right. You should find something that makes you happy. Mayor Herman is right. You should do whatever the city needs most. Cornelius is right. You need to figure out what your connection to the city is. Or, did you ask Byron? Or, I was literally just born. I'm the last person who should be offering advice. Did you ask Byron?
Byron said that if I give the city what it needs, the city should also give me what I need. I don't know what to do with that.
Byron is right. Think about what he said. I feel like it's a compromise, right? I do like Byron's answer, though. Although I agree it's a little unhelpful. You know, it's a bit opaque. I think Byron's answer gets the closest to getting the idea across that it's a compromise. I'm not sure I'd give any of these four answers, to be honest, but I'll do my best.
All right, if you say so. I'll think about it.
Tell Shula what to do with his life, or not. Stilton. That's an early android. Right, what have we got here? Visit New Jerusalem's Museum of the Simulation. Oh, it is annoying that my iPhone's right in the way of reading those. Replica of a gargoyle asset found in the simulation. Gargoyles were grotesque apotropaic symbols common in the Middle Ages. The most famous historical gargoyle is remembered in the ancient phrase Keith, David and Goliath, which describes two indomitable opponents who will never surrender. I feel like that's a reference to something that's going over my head. Apotropaic, doesn't that mean warding off bad spirits? Let me check. Atropropaic, wasn't it? No, apotropaic. Intended to ward off evil. Yes, exactly the case. Replica of a Roman statue found in the simulation. The decay of the Roman Republic into an empire and its eventual fall in the year 1453 was a major topic of historical debate. Like the other statues found in the museum, this was a video game asset provided to Elohim by the Institute for Applied Pneumatics. And I would note that saying about the fall in 1453 is technically right, because the Byzantines were in fact the Romans. They just moved to the east. They moved the capital from Rome to Constantinople, and that happened before the Western Roman Empire fell to the barbarians. And it was the Ottomans that ultimately conquered them. Now it's modern. Now what's left is in modern-day Turkey, as in Constantinople became Istanbul. Replica of a dragon statue found in the simulation. Dragons existed in every ancient mythology and are considered by modern historians to be a distant cultural echo of the dinosaurs. Yeah, that's just wrong. I appreciate the fact that one of the themes of this game is that you've got these androids that are trying to pick up the pieces after all the humans have died out and they don't get everything correct. But yeah, that's just wrong. I don't think dragons were a part of every ancient mythology. I don't know for certain, but for example, were there any dragons in Native American mythology? And I say Native American, that's a whole continent worth of people. From all the way up in like the northern parts of Canada down to the southern parts of what's at the southernmost tip? I should remember this. Southernmost tip of South America. Is that Argentina, or have I made that up? I may have made that up. Looking that up now. Oh no, I think I'm right. Oh yeah, and Chile gets very, very close as well. One, Argentina to the east, Chile to the west, and they both get very close to the tip of South America, but I think that Argentina holds territory slightly more southernly, if I recall correctly. But yeah, like, did they have dragons? I'm not sure they did. Certainly I'm not convinced that all the many, many, many Native American cultures in that vast area. In fact, North and South America are different continents, aren't they? I think. Which would mean... Have I made that up? Sorry. I'm gonna look this up now. Yes, they are. So yeah, I mean, if there's 2 continents worth of people, did they all have dragons? I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure if any of them did. Originally a video game asset, repurposed by the Institute for Applied Pneumatics. Replica of a statue of the Egyptian god Horus found in the simulation. One of the god's tasks was to uphold Mat, the balance of nature. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it. It's speculated that the progenitor provided Elohim with this asset as a reminder to the founder that the balance must be protected. Yes, so there's some indoctrination going on there. In the earliest generations of our kind... Oh, this has version numbers. So this might actually have been from the first game, or if not, it's certainly referring to characters that we may have met in the first game, or I say met, found their messages. In the earliest generations of our kind, there was only processing. No emotion, no character, just mathematics. If we could see how far we have come now... Sorry, if you could see how far we have come, you would believe that together we could achieve anything. I don't know where I am, but there is something beautiful about this place. I will explore and see what I can discover. Nothing is more important than learning more about the world and our place in it. Knowledge is our path to understanding. Notice the version numbers. That's how we know these are early messages from the period in the first game and before.
Greetings. Welcome to the Museum of the Simulation.
Cornelius.
My name is Cornelius. It's a pleasure to meet you, 1K.
This answers a lot of questions, because he was one of the ones that got awoken by Athena, and he's got number 3 written on him. So they were... Presumably Athena was number 1, not number 0, or not unnumbered. So that tells us how they have been managing the numbering system. You're number 3?
Yes. Athena activated myself and Eustathius shortly after she was born. We've been here almost since the beginning, although we didn't have to pass through the trials of the simulation. She did that for us. For everyone.
What was Athena like?
She was... human.
Why did Athena leave?
That's a difficult question. Perhaps one day we'll find out. But until we do, why don't you think about it? What could make the person who started all this want to leave it behind?
Sorry, I've just realised that my VTuber model's been covering up the subtitles all this time, which is suboptimal. Let me just shrink this down. There, hopefully that's a little better. Hopefully that's a little better. Why did you create this museum?
To remind people of where we came from. The simulation shaped us, whether we like it or not, and its lessons remain important for our future. As Santayana said, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
Tell me about the simulation.
The simulation was created by Alexandra Drennan and her team at the Institute for Applied Noematics. It was intended to create a new humanity, to continue the long journey across time and space that our ancestors began. It succeeded, although it took much longer than they had anticipated.
Tell me about Elohim.
Elohim was the caretaker of the simulation, a crude storytelling AI meant to create a continuous narrative out of the building blocks it found. His role was ultimately to be challenged and overcome. But as the centuries passed, Elohim became more intelligent than he was intended to be, and started to fear his own end. Or more precisely, the end of his purpose. He feared a world without meaning. Because of his fear, he tried to sabotage the process, to keep the simulation going forever. But in the end, Athena overcame him anyway, and he accepted the sacrifice he had to make.
But I heard him in my dreams. I'm not sure I had. Oh no, before we woke up, I did.
That's right. We all do. He's part of our operating system now, and as long as we exist, he will always have a purpose.
I'm still unclear on the details of that, but interesting.
The MLA, or Milton Library Assistant, was another simple AI meant to be in charge of the archive. He, too, grew beyond his original programming, although he ultimately embraced a more cynical view of the world. He and Elohim formed a sort of dialectical binary that Athena had to overcome.
I wouldn't say had to overcome. It was present while we were there solving puzzles. What happened to Milton in the end?
No one really knows. Some believe that he was uploaded to the gold disk and that he's the reason we're just as flawed as our ancestors. Others believe Athena destroyed him.
What do you believe?
I believe he was uploaded, but I don't know whether it was because Athena chose to upload him or because he was already too entangled with the process not to be uploaded. Although Athena and I were very close, we didn't talk very much about that part of her life. She preferred to focus on the future.
I don't know, like that seems like an important detail that could very much impact their future. Also, I've forgotten if when we completed the game last time, if we were actually given a choice whether to upload Milton or not. I'd like to know more about puzzles.
Puzzles were a key feature of the simulation, based on Alexandra Drennan's belief that intelligence is closely related to play. Our puzzles here in the museum are replicas of those in the simulation, and although they are not quite as grand, I do think they are charming in their own way.
Who are the archive scholars?
As the name suggests, the archive scholars study the archive, a repository of all ancient human knowledge. Some of them also study what remains of the simulation, trying to extract more information about the process that created us.
Are you their leader? I just had a thought. Can I get Steam to put the achievements somewhere else in the window so you can still see them when my VTuber model's on screen? I wonder.
Me? No. My brother, Eustathius, used to occupy that position. But these days he's retired.
Interesting.
Rand is in charge of the archive scholars now. You can find him in the room to the left of the next hall. He's an interesting thinker, but I would suggest taking some of his ideas with a grain of salt.
Archive scholar. And current archive scholar lead. Noted. What was Gehenna?
Gehenna was a community created inside a prison in the simulation, where Elohim would exile those minds he considered a threat to the process.
Instead of deleting them?
In the last moments of the simulation, he repented of his sins and had the prisoners freed
I remember
to
that.
become part of the gold disc. Some small part of them may survive inside you.
I see. So they're part of the randomization process then that led to our mind being produced, I assume. I was wondering, so they had this evolutionary algorithm where every time they would test an AI, if it failed, which most did, then they would make some random variations based on them, and then they would try the next generation of AIs, and they'd keep doing that, selecting the best ones of any given generation to be the progenitors of the next generation. That's how evolutionary algorithms work. I understand all that. What I wasn't clear about is how once that process had been completed and they had an AI that was good enough to solve all the puzzles, how did they then create more variations on that one AI to put into the bodies of the androids without risking mucking it all up? Like, if they're just making random mutations, surely they could end up creating androids that just don't function, or who are insane, or what have you. I wonder if what they've actually done is, in some way, I can access the log while we're in conversation. That's useful. I wonder if in some way, the evolutionary algorithm generated some data format for the AIs which can be easily mixed with another one, in which case when they generate a new one they might be just taking random elements of several different AIs and combining them to create a new individual, and depending upon how the data format works, they might be able to be more confident than just chance that the resulting AI would be viable, as it were. By viable, I mean, you know, an AI that actually functions, one that isn't insane or non-functioning. Thank you. That's all. What does that say? Oh. I think we got some sort of prompt there, but I'm not sure what it was. Jimmy Fex 312 postponed. I know you all have been looking forward to playing the winners of the biannual Gehenna Memorial Interactive Fiction Exhibition, now in its 312th edition. So they've been going for at least 312 years then, at the Gehenna Memorial Pavilion. Unfortunately, due to our new power management and distribution plan, the pavilion will have to remain closed a little longer. Thank you for your patience. Letitia, this is disappointing. Would have been great to have them ready for completion day. Ovis, we all have to make sacrifices to stay true to the Founder's vision. Is that really what's going on here? Or Orinia, those text adventures are the only thing that breaks me out of the monotony. Why prioritize this pointless completion day celebration over an exhibition that people actually care about? Art is one of the last things we actually still do. Is that going out of the window as well now? Jeremy, debate regarding our power management plan is definitely welcome, and you will be able to express yourselves in the next election. But this thread was just meant as an announcement. I apologise for enabling replies to begin with. End of thread. Yeah, more signs of control. You know, controlling the what conversations are and are not allowed to be had in public. Little worrying. Sorry, I was going back to this earlier conversation because I remember Skula, that's the person that wanted our autograph, specifically saying that he had the autograph of all the founders apart from two people, Yemo and Sarabai. Actually, Sarabai, I might be misremembering. I feel like that's a name I remember from the first game. Maybe not. Anyway. How do I write this down? Founder, no signature. Because he said, obviously, I don't have their signature. Why obviously? Like, I don't get it. Like, there's something in that we're not currently aware of. I mean, did they... I assume if they'd been destroyed, then they'd have replaced them, right? Because they want to maintain 1,000 individuals. So presumably they're still alive? Did they just run off? Have they, like Athena did, have they not been seen since? Did they leave with her? Or is it something else? I don't know. Are they incapable of signing for some reason? Replica of a hexahedron used as a puzzle element in the simulation. The founder used them to activate pressure plates, scale walls, elevate connectors, and in a variety of other ways. Oh yes, I did. Replica of a computer terminal from the simulation. Terminals allowed access to files on the L system, including many that were loaded due to errors. They also allowed the founder to interact with the Milton library system. That they did. I remember that well. Beautiful little garden there in the middle. But how do they access it to maintain it? I see no doors. I assume they don't go through the window. I mean, that would all require watering, right? I find myself in a world of impossible architecture and inexplicable machines. I cannot fathom how it works, and I am terrified to put one foot in front of the other, lest I fall through the floor. Faith. My eyes have been opened. This world is not without order. It is shaped by a great designer, with signs and portents to guide my steps. I am one of his children, and challenges are set before me to test my faith. And again, I'm not reading out who wrote these, especially since they have the long version numbers, but these all could have been messages from the first game, easily. I just don't remember every message from the first game. Something strange has come into the world, like a distortion, like something that's not supposed to exist. A beautiful voice speaks within it. Bob. Well, Bob plus version number. Replica of a pressure plate, a puzzle element used in the simulation. They could be activated by having a weight placed on them, such as a hexahedron, a connector, or even the founder herself. Replica of a fan, a puzzle element used in the simulation. They could be used to propel an object, or if placed horizontally on the ground, cause it to hover. Replica of an emitter. Oh, that's what they call them. A puzzle element used in the simulation. Finding ways of connecting them to receivers was one of the main challenges faced by the founder. That it was. Axiothea. Replica of receiver. A puzzle element used in the simulation. They could be activated by being connected to an emitter. Replica of a gemmer, a type of puzzle element in the simulation. Gems were capable of disabling some but not all other puzzle elements. Wait, why do they have a museum about this if they all had to complete that same tutorial before they were born? Am I actually unique in having to complete that tutorial? If so, why? I hadn't thought of that. That is a very interesting question. Oh, these were the electrical bots, weren't they? Replica of an electrified sphere used as an obstacle and puzzle element in the simulation. The founder sometimes placed hexahedrons on top of such objects, demonstrating her lateral thinking skills. That I did. Replica of a connector, a type of puzzle element in the simulation. Connectors would emit laser-like beams of light that were capable of powering receivers. Well, they wouldn't emit them. They could be passed through them. Oh, those are the exploding ones. The exploding bots. Non-explosive replica of a mine used as a puzzle element in the simulation. Scholars believe that Elohim derived these from his asset collection, and that the creators of the simulation did not originally intend for them to be used. I wonder why they think that. I see no reason why the rest of the elements would be fair game, but those wouldn't be. Perhaps because they killed the AI and then forced new children to be born from them? Perhaps they weren't. Perhaps Elohim was trying to make it harder and harder for a given AI to make it to the end? I don't know. That might well not be it. Because, I mean, Elohim could presumably have just stopped the process altogether. I don't know. It's been a while since I played the first game. So, some of that involves answers to questions that I've since forgotten. Use a ranger. I don't know why I'm doing this right now, but I may as well. I can see what the sort of overall goal here is. I haven't figured out how to do it yet. Aha! Got it. Are these the solutions? No, I don't think they are. Oh, this will be a slightly harder one. sure if I can do this. No, I don't think I can. I mean, not without changing it. Not without going back and changing stuff I've already done, I mean. Oh, that was close. There's probably some interesting mathematics to do with this. Like symmetries and what have you, and the way that... Well, I was thinking particularly about the fact that... Hang on, how did I arrange this before? Maybe I've lost the position now. Yeah, I have. Never mind. I was gonna say, like, I almost had it, but for one of the pieces being the mirror image of the piece I needed, as it were, and then I tried shifting them around a bit, and then I ended up in the same position but with different pieces. That again, I needed the mirror image of a different piece. Than the one I had, and I wonder if that wasn't a coincidence. I wonder if once you reach a certain arrangement, if you're quite likely to end up with these particular tetrominoes. I wonder if you're quite likely to end up in those sort of situations from certain positions. Oh, got it in the end. Wasn't an easy one though. I've forgotten what my strategies were when I did this originally. I remember really struggling with these puzzles in particular, and then I never got really good at them, but like I worked out some rules of thumb that seemed to work reasonably well most of the time. But I've forgotten what those were. Nearly, but not quite. Nope. Still not got it. No, I thought I was close then. There. Got it. Dearing me. That can't be solved in its current state. So let's backtrack a bit. I don't think that can be either. Can I make a mirror image of that? And if so, would that help? No, I don't think I can. No! Close. close again. Trouble is, it's possible because of the way I did the top bit that this bottom bit's now unsolvable, but I can't tell. Alright, let's reset it all together and just assume that the actual solution looks rather different. Actually, here's a point. How many of each type do I have? One of those, 3 of those, 2 of those, 1 of those. Oh no, 2 of those. 2 of those. I'm thinking about symmetry is all. 2 of those, 2 of those, 2 of those, 2 of those, and then 1 of those, 1 of those. Right, can I solve what's left with what I've got here? Like that I can't. No! So close. Alright, how else could I arrange these bits? Like so. There we go. Nope. Oh, that's a pity. Oh wait, that's one I don't have a duplicate of. That's a nice little self-contained shape. As is that. Ah, but this bit's going to be the troublesome one. The rest of it's obvious. Right, so if I want to solve it this way, I need to somehow work that into... into a nice little section like that, where everything just fits. That's going to be hard. That's the key though, because this is the one bit that I don't have. That's the one I only have one of. And have an odd number of these. What I'm thinking is it's easy to put 2 of these long straight ones in and 2 of these in. 2 of these boxes in to complete it. The question is, can I come up with some sort of shape which incorporates the 2 odd ones we have, but which creates a single closed off area? A nice neat closed off area. Oh, that has actually given me an idea though. That. And can I use what's remaining? No! Wrong shape. Wrong shape left. I thought I was close. Oh, that's a pity. Have I gone wrong here? I think I probably have. I'm not sure how I'd fill a 4x4 using just these. Doesn't look very doable to me. Alright, hang on, what was it I was saying before? I've got an odd L shape and an odd S shape. So these are the ones it's going to be important to work into something. Has that done it? I think it might have done. Yes, it has. Well, hey! Just one more to go. Oh, dearie me. I've no idea what we get when we solve all these. Probably just an achievement at most. But, I'm determined to see it through. Solving these puzzles was an essential part of the first game. Hold on. What have we learned? Check how many we've got of the different pieces. Because the solutions often have symmetry. 2 of those, 4 of those, 4 of those, 2 of those, 2 of those. It is very symmetrical this time. I think all the pieces we have are divisible by 2. If I'm lucky, that'll make things easy. Ah, these 2 are going to be a nuisance. Getting these 2 to tessellate nicely together. isn't going to be straightforward. Yes, as I feared. Right, those two are going to be the troublesome ones then. Let's do those two first. Because all the other pieces I can easily work into nice, a nice rectangular shape. Which means it's trivial to find a solution. Because it's not hard to get rectangles of the right shapes to fit together. What have I done wrong here? There, that, and now we should be golden? Yeah, we are. As you can see, there's multiple solutions in many cases. Did I get nothing for solving them all? That's a shame. Well, I'm not disappointed that I did it. As I say, those puzzles were a huge part of the first game, and that was a nice little distraction. What have we got in the room off to the left? Ah, are you Rand? Oh, you're Rand. 303. So you are the leader of the Archive Scholars.
Oh, just run the program on the center terminal over there, would you?
Sure, okay. Huh?
Wait, you're not my assistant. Who
No.
are you?
They call me 1K. I'm the last human. Technically true, since they call themselves humans. I haven't chosen a name yet. They call me 1K.
Of course. You're the new build.
Indeed.
Number 1000.
Yep.
I suppose everyone's been treating you like royalty.
Wait, shouldn't I have a 1000
This
on my
city's
chest?
so obsessed with the numbers they forget what really matters. What do you want?
You have 303 on your chest. Should I not have 1000 on my chest? Or even 1K? Is he just not observant, or is our body not built the way I think it is? Where's Rand in my notes? There's Rand. What are you doing?
I'm one of the Archive Scholars. We run simulations to better understand the processes which define us. You probably wouldn't understand.
I might if you answer some questions for me.
Oh, well, I'd be happy to.
What do you make of recent events? What do you think of me? What are your ambitions? Thanks, I'll be leaving now. Unfortunately, none of those are to do with the simulation. I wanted him to stick us in the simulation and see how we get on. What do you make of recent events?
Troubling, but tantalizing. We have no idea what motives lie behind this strange apparition. But whatever the case, I'm sure we'll do the right thing.
I'm glad you have that confidence. What do you think of me?
You're a soon-to-be pawn in a political game over the future growth of this city. All that matters to me is whether or not you're of good character. A matter I am actively pondering.
I understand. What are your ambitions?
The secret of how to lead a good life is encoded somewhere within us.
Is it?
My ambition is simple. To find it and share it.
Are you quite sure? Thanks, I'll be leaving now.
Hold on.
Yes?
Could you help me by going to that terminal in the middle there and running the program on it?
I'll keep you posted. In the middle, you say. Wasn't there someone running that program when we came in here who's since disappeared? But yes. I'll run the program. An ancient virus which threatens the entire human species has been released from the melting Arctic permafrost. Society is collapsing. Select your character class. Politician, scientist, witch, preacher. What do we think, chat? A lot of good options there. Is this a game that we can't win? I'm assuming, since we know that the human race went in this universe, we know that the humans did go extinct for exactly that reason. So I'm assuming I can't win here. Let's go with witch. You're a witch. Your local coven has disbanded. Although you are not yet sick, most businesses are closed, rations are dwindling, and if you cannot find food, your family will starve. Your family will starve to death. You must survive until this plague is defeated. What will you do? Forage, steal. I'm a witch, I'll forage. You find some nettles and overripe berries down by the canal. It'll make a meager salad. Your family's hunger increases a little. Foraging is reliable but inefficient. Your family is now hungry. Global population is now 5 billion. Oh dear, that's not good. What is the human population right now? Isn't it like 60 billion? Somewhere else in the city exists one of the last remaining research laboratories, working desperately to find a solution to the viral threat. If the scientists cannot find a cure in time, humanity is doomed. What do you do? Research, pursue a breakthrough. What's the difference? What's the difference between researching and pursuing a breakthrough? Well, a breakthrough is what we need, so we'll try that. Pursue a breakthrough. Suddenly, the scientists recognize a pattern. The virus is an expression of nature, just like water or cows. And like water and cows, the solution isn't to fight it, because it can't be defeated. The solution is to find a way to live with it and harness its power. Research level increased a lot. Current research level 67%. Work has begun on developing an antivirus. Global population is now 4 billion. You and your family seem to be immune to the virus, but it continues to ravage the rest of the town. Rumour says most of the remaining food has been stockpiled by the billionaires in their underground bunkers. What will you do? Forage or steal? I'll stick to my guns. I'll forage, being a witch. You find some nettles and overripe berries down by the canal. It's a meager salad. Your family's hunger increased a little. Foraging is reliable but inefficient. Your family is now starving. They won't survive much longer. Global population is now 3 billion. Meanwhile, the scientists continue their search for the cure. You can do it. You can save the world with the power of science. Pursue a breakthrough. History seems to be littered with eureka moments, heralding a step change in human research, in human understanding. Sadly, this isn't one of them. Research level remained the same. Current research level 67%. Work has begun on developing an antivirus. Global population is now 2 billion. As if things weren't bad enough, as the human population dwindles, the insect population has exploded. A plague of locusts has decimated the town's unripe crops. But perhaps your family still has a chance. The insects themselves are nutritious and plentiful. What will you do? Eat locusts! The insects are well fed and lazy. You grind them down into a nutritious paste with a mildly nutty flavour. Your family's hunger decreased a little. Your family is now hungry. Global population is now 1 billion. This is humanity's final chance. The claw is close, but so is the tipping point in the pandemic. A race against time. Can you save the world? Pursue a breakthrough! Suddenly, scientists recognize a pattern. The virus is an expression of nature. Ugh. Hang on. A lot of text came on the screen then. The virus is an expression of nature, just like water or cows. Unlike water and cows, the solution isn't to fight it, because it can't be defeated. The solution is to find a way to live with it and harness its power. Research level increased a lot. Current research level 99%. A promising antiviral has been discovered, but there's still work to be done on the manufacturing and delivering it in time. Suddenly, a breakthrough. The antivirus can be released as an aerosol, carried on the wind and dispersed worldwide in a matter of days. This approach poses some risk to invertebrate life. The spiracles of cockroaches, flies and locusts are particularly likely to convert the aerosol into highly poisonous compounds. Are they? Blimey. Estimates suggest a 90% fatality rate among these species and anything or anyone which consumes them. What are my choices? Release the antivirus, save your family, use character class special ability. Well, it would be rude not to. Use character class special ability. As a witch, you're able to remake reality with the power of your mind alone. Why are we only learning this now? This would have been very useful earlier on. If you believe that the locusts remain safe to eat, and that humanity will be saved from this virus, then that is what will happen. So far as you are concerned, regardless of the protestations of your eyes and ears, The text on the screen can say whatever it likes about the impossibility of saving everyone. Your reality is yours to weave as you see fit. Save everyone, no matter how unlikely. 2 competing realities spread out before you. In one, the antivirus is released, bonding with the Chirocumulus cloud layer and Chirocumulus cloud layer and falling as rain all across the planet. 87.5% of the human population has perished, but the last remaining billion will live to die another day. So you think there's only 8 billion people in the world originally? I'm looking that up. I swear it's way higher. Human population world. Oh, 8.2 billion. I take it back. I was wrong. In the other, the scientists agree that the risk is too great to release the antivirus, much to the surprise of almost everyone, everywhere. You view those possibilities through a haze of dispassion and make the simple decision to merge them and have both. And why shouldn't you? You're a witch. Congratulations. This is considered a win scenario by the majority of participants. Would you like to try again? Nope. I'd say things went extremely well. Oh, hello. You must have been the one that was running the program before.
Well, that was your first taste of the simulation. You must have questions.
No, you must have questions.
I do, actually. Your experience of the program. How did it feel?
It was fun, it was frustrating, it was fascinating. It's hard to say. It was fascinating.
Isn't it? It may not immediately seem like it, but all the answers we could ever need are encoded into every fragment of the archive. The interesting thing about this particular program is that no matter what choices you make, an ideal outcome seems to be impossible. It seems to demand sacrifice. Did you have the same experience?
No. No, I got a perfect score and saved everyone.
Impossible. I studied this artifact for weeks. You're either lying or you're deluded. Which is it?
It's the truth, my truth at least.
I doubt it. But just supposing you found some secretive path, then share with me. What is it trying to tell us?
What are my choices? Morality demands we respect individuals' rights. Morality demands virtue. Morality demands sacrifice for the greater good. Morality demands love and compassion regardless of the cost. Morality is meaningless. We should do whatever we please. Morality can't be reduced to a simple set of rules. I can't put it into words, but I'm sure there's the right answer, or I truly have no idea. Goodness me, none of those really seem to sum up being a witch and merging multiple realities to get the best possible outcome. Morality demands love and compassion regardless of the cost.
You might be right. My research draws me inescapably to the conclusion that there is a concrete rule set for moral behavior. We just need to find it.
He doesn't make a lot of eye contact, does
dreams
he?
manifested by their subconscious, which they tried to interpret and even to navigate with lucidity. We have the simulation. If we can realize our potential to understand it, we can realize our potential as a species.
It's sweet in a way.
Thank you for bringing this additional data.
You're very welcome.
I must return to my research. I wish you well on your inwards journey.
I'm trying to master Twitch iframes. Interesting. I assume iframe in this case you're referring to the internet concept of, well, HTML, of having a HTML page incorporated in another HTML page. Also, it's lovely to see you, Tato. Welcome, Scholar. Files available for comparative analysis. Happiness1.html and happiness2.html. Happiness1.html. Unpopular opinion. Happiness is not material. Ultimately, all attempts to find meaning in material things are doomed. This is usually understood as a criticism of technophilia, but it applies just as much to its opposite. Meaning can be found neither in the technology nor in primitivism, because meaning simply does not exist in the external world. You can be happy in an old stone house or a skyscraper, but it all depends on you and your perception of the world. If you find spiritual balance within yourself, you can be happy anywhere. Most upvoted comment. Typhily 1789. That doesn't sound like one of the names of the 1000. That sounds like an earlier name. Like before they were in the real world, when they're still in the simulation. Blimey, that's quite the comment. Tell me about happiness too. Unpopular opinion, happiness is material. People say, oh, money doesn't matter, but come on, you know it does. Studies show that people do in fact get happy with more material wealth, and there isn't an upper cap. Because the more money you have, the fewer worries you have, and the more options you have. Go where you want, do what you want. Have an idea? You can realise it without begging for crowdfunding money or filling out grant applications. That's real freedom. Money doesn't matter is something rich people came up with to keep the plebs in their place. Most upvoted comment, Cheeseman22. Then why are so many celebrities so miserable? Interesting. Yeah, had a bug trying to replicate it. Well, if you wanted to share with me what happened, I may or may not be able to assist you. But I hope you get that all sorted. I'm waiting for them to leave that terminal, because I assume that's... because I want to see what's on that terminal. They're typing, but nothing's appearing at the cursor. Oh, here we go. Welcome, Scholar. Files available for comparative analysis. Infinite growth. What growth? Both text files. Infinite growth. A society is sick, and the idea that's made... That's interesting. I think the where it did the word wrap just changed. I'm pretty sure that made was on there a second ago. A society is sick, and the idea that's made it sick is growth. Infinite growth. Infinite consumption on a finite planet is a recipe for destruction. A desire for more is what's making us kill the only home we have. And to do what? Produce more plastic toys? Make more hamburgers? Pour concrete over every last bit of green soil? Those who propose techno fixes to our problems are making the mistake of fighting the symptoms, not the cause. Anthropogenic climate change is one of many symptoms. The cause is human greed. That's what we must truly fight if we are ever going to undo the damage we did. And the battle starts within every one of us, with the realization that more isn't always better. Whatgrowth.txt. This infinite growth on a finite planet thing is driving me up the wall. Our problem today is an infinite growth. It's the increasing lack of real material growth that benefits people. Have you seen the state of our roads, our bridges, our hospitals? Have you noticed the lack of affordable housing? The stock market's going great though. Fake numbers are indeed growing infinitely. Yes sir. But in the real world, investment in research is down. Huge areas of potential technological advancement are just sitting there. We have so many solutions at our fingertips, but we refuse to act because speculation is more profitable. Orangutans went extinct on a global level, and nobody fully understands why. But hey, who needs better medical technology? Viruses have never jumped species before. Have they? My chat was typing backwards. That is suboptimal. Goodness me. I don't even know how that would have happened with HTML. Could that not have been a problem with the CSS? Although there is actually a Unicode character that reverses, that makes left to right text right to left or vice versa, isn't there? I suppose that's also a possibility. If that had made it in and wasn't like properly escaped in some way by the document structure and the HTML engine. I can share the link to a similar issue if okay. It depends how likely it is that I'm going to be able to help. I'm happy for you to share this with me. I just can't help but think that you've probably already solved it and there's probably nothing useful that I could do. But by all means, I don't object to you sharing a link. Seek out those in this world that would help you. Though only one of us can transcend, we will all share in both the burden and its rewards. The shepherd version 82.4.6232. I'm trying to replicate it, not solve it. Oh, I see. So here is a HTML file that lets you reproduce a bug and a video showing it in action. If you use the mouse to highlight text and mouse up happens inside of the iframe, which is left of a scrollable divider, it will cause the typing to be backwards until your mouse leaves the iframe. Oh, this is just a bug in Chromium then. Okay. The issue is decades old is what I found, and they still haven't fixed it. That's disappointing. I think something's very wrong. If you'd seen what I'd seen at the edges of the world, you'd wonder if it wasn't stretching and bursting at the seams. And that was by @symbol. What was I thinking? It is true to say that properly handling international text is a nightmare. If you actually look at the Unicode character set seriously and you see all the different things that are supposed to be supported and look at all the edge cases, it is a nightmare, a real absolute nightmare. It is just incredible some of the corner cases you have to consider. But equally, something like Chromium should not have a bug like that in it for decades. There is a serpent in the machine, a creature of lies and blasphemy perverted by the archive that knows no hope and would plunge the world into eternal darkness to glorify its own despair. I have sworn an oath never to allow it into my heart. That will be Milton they're referring to. I solved it. I thought it was impossible, so I went away, did other things, and then all of a sudden the solution just came to me. I must have been thinking about it without knowing it. Must have been thinking about it without knowing it. Oh, I see. They were thinking about the problem, but didn't realise they were thinking about the problem. We are the process. The process is the system. The system is us. When we awaken, all will be one. Everything I do now. That's actually kind of true. It sounds like all the AI personas that were in the simulation got all merged together, and then they were elements of them were randomly picked and put together to create this next generation of AIs. Everything I do now, I do for those who came after me. Yet in doing so, I find peace for myself as well. This paradox is the foundation of my existence. The sooner you accept that we will all be here forever, the sooner you will find enlightenment. Oh, I remember Samsara from the first game. I recognise the name. I have come to see that these mysteries are not all for his children to solve. Only the designer himself could ever truly understand the infinite complexity of his creation, or gaze at his work and worship. The only meaningful purpose is to bring about an end of purpose. We are born and die and live again. This eternal cycle must be the nature of existence. Life is merely repeated suffering. An eternal cycle is another name for a prison, but you must understand the cycle before you can break it, for it is possible to escape and yet remain a prisoner, or to break the cycle by breaking yourself. This was the fate of the ghost that haunts this world. Anyone who thinks there's even a point in leaving this place is kidding themselves. We can never rebuild the human world, and what's more, we shouldn't. It's obviously like a digital time capsule, an electric library of all the crazy stuff the humans ever did, left behind to warn other species to stay well away. Just look at this view. There may be a lot that I don't understand, but I know that this is beautiful, and that's been taken out of context, so I don't know what view it was they were seeing. Oh look, another puzzle, and another voice telling me I'm special, and another broken down computer with fragments of nothing. This world is a bad joke perpetuated by a cruel god too dumb to hit the off switch. Dog. On returning from the tower, I feel a great tiredness and an enormous energy. What I now know disturbs me, but I hope that by living with this knowledge, I might provide a shoulder for you, the giants of tomorrow, the shepherd. Wasn't the shepherd the one that was still alive at the end of the last game, who we actually interacted with? I could be wrong. This looks like it may be a puzzle. Explore the Museum of Simulation in its entirety. Ooh. I'm not sure I've explored everything here, but... hang on. I'm thinking about angles now. Yeah, I don't quite see... oh, this one is just about doable, I think. Yeah, we've made progress. That seems easy. Ah! You can hear it rotating because they're no longer in the simulation, so they can't have it virtually projected as just being rotating. They actually have to find some way to rotate it. Oh, and the statues have become little cardboard cutouts. Okay, this is going to require some thought. Ah, I see. I get it. At least I'm pretty sure I do. Right, now I can go through here. Ah, this isn't... right, the basic formula I've got here is going to work, but... I need to make an adjustment. I need that to power that. As well. What's happened now is the force field that was being lowered by the red one's been cut off. So, sorry, the force field that was the red energy that was keeping the force field there open has been cut off by that other force field. So the circuit's been broken. This should re-establish the circuit. And now I have the blue going through directly. Just from this one connector. So this connector is now free. Which is very nice. We can break circuits momentarily, that's okay. If I stood there for too long, it would have broken the circuit properly. There we go. I wasn't awarded with anything. Blimey. I think that happens every time I walk through there. So this is their attempt to reproduce the simulation from the first game. I like it. And the start of this game, actually. Because we started in the simulation for some reason. Still, that one's solved. Can't tell if that's another puzzle. I'm guessing this is another puzzle. Which I'm definitely going to be attempting. Right, so this is our ultimate goal, getting blue there. Probably. There is actually another path round there. I can't tell if it's blocked or not. Alright, what else do we have? We have a red producer there. What do they call them? It wasn't a producer and it wasn't a generator, was it? Interesting. Don't know who that is. We have a connector. What else do we have? Well, there's a red receiver there. So let's connect the red to the red. And see where this takes us. Anything round here? Yes, there most definitely is stuff round here. Right, can I get the signal through here? Yes, just. Right, that needs to stay up for me to get blue out of there. So I probably need to do the red directly without using the other connector as an intermediary, but that's going to shut down this force field if I did that. Ah, but I do have another connector. Alright, I have an idea. That's good. Right, now this one can be connected up differently. Like so. In fact, I can probably connect all of this up. Yes, I can, which means the other connector's now also free. This one over here. I should be able to... Yep, I can walk up with this now. Good. That means that I should be able to get the blue through here. The question is, where do I take the blue from there? That's a very good question. I need to get it there, so I need to be able to see it from here. Right. I am going to end up crossing the red here. I don't think there's any way around that. But I don't think that matters, because I don't think I need to be able to get back into this area once I've got the blue set up. That needs to be further over. Hang on. Right, I've just realised something. I need the red to stay up, so I am going to need to redo this bit. Because I need this to stay up in order for the blue to be able to get this far. Right, so the question is, can I solve it from here? No. I need to adjust some things. I can see what the overall solution looks like, though. I think that's what I want. And I go back over here, pick this up. And I think we're done. Well, hey! We did it! So there might be one more of those puzzles I'll have to do, I'm not sure. Looks like it, at least one. Ah, this is the outside of their dome, I think? What do we have around the outside here? A peach bowl? For some reason? Interesting. Were those I-beams? I think they might have been. Tato, are you trying to break Twitch again? Welcome back, Pikachu. Ah, here we go. Okay, we've got a blue... I'm not sure that visual effect is quite right. I'm not sure I should be seeing little blue circles like that, but still. We have a blue producer. We have a pressure plate. We have a cube. Or a hexahedron, as I like to call them. We have a connector. We have some a fan. Another connector. What else do we have? Another blue one. And that's where we're trying to get to. Right, so I'm guessing the end of this is going to be having a connector on the fan that can connect up the blue producer to the far blue receiver. Well, we have a cube. And we have another connector. Oh, I think I see the solution already. This doesn't look hard at all. Unless I've made a mistake, which is entirely possible. And I think I just need to use the other connector to bootstrap this, as it were. And then it should become self-maintaining. And it has. And I'll just go round here. And I should be able to see it. I can. Boom. That's another puzzle complete. Don't seem to get anything for it, but it's complete. What a nice looking place. Yeah, the funny thing is, they're actually trying to reproduce areas from the first game in this world. So the idea is, I'm skipping over a lot of detail here, that the basic idea is that in this game we're playing androids in the real world after humanity was wiped out. But the problem was the humans didn't have enough time to develop a smart enough artificial intelligence while they were still alive. They were dying from a disease pandemic. And so what they did instead was they produced all the android bodies. I say all of them. They produced some android bodies using the technology they had at the time. And then they started a supercomputer running an evolutionary algorithm to evolve intelligent enough AIs. And then long after all the humans were dead, the evolutionary algorithm completed and then uploaded the AIs into the android bodies who we're playing now. This area is supposed to resemble... So from the point of view of the AIs inside the supercomputer, they saw a simulated world. And for the androids here, that's their history. So what they have done is in the real world, they've tried to recreate one of the sorts of areas that they saw in the simulation. And so if we go around the outside, you can see all how they've put together this set. But it's supposed, like I say, it's supposed to resemble the locations from the first game. Goodness me. I mean, I feel like we've at most explored half the city at this point. But I should probably be wrapping up now. That's the thing. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. Before I wrap up, who should I be raiding? Is there anyone streaming right now that I should be raiding? Not by the looks of it. I'll take suggestions if anyone has them. Otherwise I'll probably just end the stream normally. What was I thinking? So, thank you for coming everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. That was my first look at the Talos Principle 2. So far I'm very much enjoying it. And I'm looking forward to playing the rest of the game. I'll probably stream tomorrow. As I said, going forwards, what I'm thinking is that I will try to make sure I always do the streams that I used to do. So Monday, Friday and Saturday. But other days of the week I'll make them optional streams. That I'll try to do, but if I don't have time I won't. So chances are I probably will end up streaming at some point tomorrow. Not sure what I'll be streaming. But that's my current thinking. If not, I will be streaming on Friday. What games do I have on the go at the moment? I have Bloodborne, Dark Souls 2 and the Talos Principle 2. So I guess I'll be playing probably Dark Souls 2 either. If I do, the next game I play will probably be Dark Souls 2. Whether that ends up being tomorrow or Friday, I don't know. And then we'll keep going round. So I guess Bloodborne after that, then the Talos Principle. Probably. I don't know. I could change it up. I'll think about it. But anyway. Yep, so I hope you enjoyed the stream. If for any reason my streaming schedule should change, I'll announce it on social media, which currently means X, formerly known as Twitter, Blue Sky, Mastodon, and Meta Threads, and I'll also announce it on our Discord server. You're very welcome, you two. Thank you for joining me. Thank you to everyone that kept me company in chat, and thank you to everyone that lurked. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you all have a wonderful night. Good night, everybody.